Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Friday. Um, Todd Taylor is with us today, and he is going to discuss academic student video projects with Adobe Premiere Rush.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for spending Friday afternoon with us. People are trickling in, and we're going to get going with my favorite app. My favorite app is Adobe Premiere Rush. It is a new game-changing video editor, which is what we're going to explain and give you some demonstration and overview of why it's so important to me as an educator. It's been basically available to the public for about almost 18 months now, a year and a half. And to me, it's just the perfect and ideal app for education. And I'll explain why. To get started, we have a quick poll to find out who's with us today. So, Melissa, if you go ahead and publish that poll, let's see the arrangement of who's in the audience today. While we're doing that, I'll introduce myself some more. My name is Todd Taylor, and I am a pedagogical evangelist for Adobe. And for 22 years before I was working full-time for Adobe, I was the Eliason Distinguished Professor of English at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I taught lots of things having to do with digital literacy, which has been my area of research, teaching, and administration for over 25 years since I was in graduate school. So any poll results yet, Melissa, to report?
Yes, yes. So mostly with us today, not everyone has voted yet, but mostly we've got instructors, a little over 50%. A couple of instructional designers, some support staff, even a couple of grad students are with us.
Good.
So yeah, but heavy on
So
instructors today.
good. That's great to hear. Very often, graduate students are all the above, but often instructors, as they are in the first year writing program that I often directed. We're also going to do a second quick poll to find out about your experience with video editors. And so we'll close the first poll. And Melissa, could you start the second poll, which describes your experience as a video editor, kind of from expert to novice? And we'll kind of define that from novice being really haven't made any films to expert. You've sort of made and at least shared some serious films on more than one occasion out there, beyond your vacation videos. Um, and so if you're not terribly familiar with it or aware, Adobe Creative Cloud is a lot different today than the standalone applications that we used to use 15 or 20 years ago. And it's even vastly different from the CS6 suite, which is what's a lot of people even still have access to. It's become something a lot more than just a collection of applications for media production. It really is a platform in itself by now. And what makes it, what partially makes that platform so robust and so particularly valuable at this particular moment is that increasingly the applications are being engineered and re-engineered to work, have the same experience on mobile device as they do on laptop and desktop and tablet. And that's where Adobe Rush enters into this. And we're going to see a quick video in a minute after we get the results from the poll that explain exactly why Rush is so special. Melissa, any poll results to report yet on the second question?
Yeah, yeah. So almost everyone actually voted, and I was right when I said you're in for a treat, you guys, because we have 65% of people with us classify themselves as beginners or novice. So
Great, that's
that,
awesome.
yeah, this will be really great. This will be so cool.
All right.
All
And
right.
so, Melissa, if you're ready to go ahead and cue up this video.
Hi, my name is Todd Taylor, and I'm a professor of English at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and this is another video tutorial in the series From Zero to Creative in 50 Minutes, designed to help students and teachers get going fast with digital literacy projects anywhere across the curriculum. I'm particularly excited about today's tutorial to introduce a brand new video editing application called Adobe Premiere Rush. Adobe Premiere Rush is a game changer that enables powerful video editing for everyday creators and digital storytellers, especially students and teachers. Premiere Rush is the just right solution when Premiere Pro might be too much and Spark Video might be too little. Premiere Rush enables novice video creators to make all of the essential moves of professional film editing in an intuitive, easy-to-learn application with an almost flat learning curve. The amazing balance between power and simplicity is just half the story. When used in combination with mobile devices, Premiere Rush is like a virtual studio that can travel with makers wherever their story is and wherever they might work, because it is essentially device and platform agnostic, which means that it works the same on iOS and Android phones and tablets, as well as Mac and Windows operating systems. This is a monumental breakthrough for classroom teachers like myself, because it means that we can teach one solution for video editing that works on the digital devices our students use every day, wherever they are getting their work done. As a teacher, I have been exploring the use of community-based service learning documentary filmmaking across the curriculum since 1999. This introductory module that you're watching on video includes also a PDF transcript and worksheet, and in that worksheet there is a link to an archive of student videos made in my classes over the years. So many educators are now leveraging the power of audiovisual student work to promote high-impact, deeply engaged intellectual work in every kind of class, from introductory to advanced, and in every discipline from the sciences to the humanities. The aim is for students to move themselves from passive consumers of information to active producers of ideas, and in our particular cultural moment, digital audio-visual has emerged as a dominant mode for the creation and circulation of ideas. Teachers want their students to read, write, and think critically. Doing so means that we enable them to participate in the evaluation, creation, and the circulation of ideas. But access to the increasingly influential audiovisual mode has been historically difficult, which is why Adobe Premiere Rush is such a game changer. In 1999, only a small number of my students could get access to specialized campus labs to share expensive and severely rationed resources such as cameras and video editing workstations. Adobe Premiere Rush provides an educational solution that unleashes the power of digital audiovisual storytelling for any student with a Creative Cloud subscription. Even just 5 years ago, my students were tethered to the expensive, limited workstations with restricted hours in our library design lab. Now they can produce, edit, and create on their preferred device wherever and whenever they want to get their work done. Premiere Rush is thus the killer app that my students and I have needed since 1999 because it is a much more scalable, practical, and affordable solution for video production and editing, especially when used in combination with students' mobile devices. I can now assign video projects in my class knowing that we only need to teach and support a single video editing application. Premiere Rush enables students to make 95% of the essential moves that professional video editors make, which other simplified, non-professional grade video editors could not support even just a couple of years ago. And when novice filmmakers are ready to graduate to the next level, Premiere Rush is the ideal solution to enable that transition to a professional grade industry standard application. Because Premiere Rush is part of the comprehensive Creative Cloud ecosystem of applications, a video project that starts in Premiere seamlessly transitions into Premiere Pro and After Effects for advanced post-production functions and features. Creators who first learn to edit in Premiere Rush will have a natural, easy transition to Premiere Pro, since both applications are part of the Creative Cloud and are, in fact, built on top of the same program code. Mainstream content creators, especially students and teachers, increasingly leverage the power of collaboration. The Adobe Creative Cloud ecosystem of applications is the industry standard for working not only seamlessly between media production applications, but also doing so within a collaborative, cloud-based architecture. The workplace of the future, if not the present, is collaborative and cloud-based, and students, teachers, parents, and employers want and need this generation to experience learning and working in such digital environments in school. Premiere Rush projects can be shared and developed by collaborative teams wherever and whenever needed because the application is part of the Creative Cloud ecosystem. Using the 4 tutorial modules in Adobe Education Exchange for Premiere Rush. You are currently listening to the first introductory video module of 4 in Adobe Education Exchange. The remainder of this module provides an overview of the 4 modules and suggests some ways that instructors might assign them to their students. Lesson 1 is for novices, Lesson 2 is for intermediate video editors, and Lesson 3 covers advanced video editing. Each of the 3 lessons has 3 components. 1. Step-by-step tutorial videos that provide more detail and information than the tutorial that is built in with Premiere Rush when it comes to you originally. These videos are composed in split screen with Premiere Rush in the top pane and the PDF worksheet in the bottom pane, so you can connect the two. Second, PDF worksheets that provide a detailed script of the video tutorials. These worksheets also include clickable links that will jump to specific time codes in the tutorial videos if you're only looking for one function or one piece of the video. Third, a single-page tutorial index that provides a list of clickable links that will jump to specific time codes in the tutorial videos. Think of this third piece as kind of a cheat sheet or table of contents that makes it easy to browse through the videos by jumping around. Instructors can assign these lessons in a number of ways. Students should complete them on their own for homework, or you might follow the tutorial in a class or studio together. Students might print the worksheets out and follow along with them as a sort of step-by-step checklist of the basic moves to make in Premiere Rush. Or students might have multiple screens open on their computers and move from the worksheet to the video tutorials and to Premiere Rush itself. Notice that the video tutorials include a split-screen transcript that includes the PDF tutorial in the bottom pane, so students might prefer to avoid printing or opening the worksheets at all. The built-in tutorial that comes packaged with Premiere Rush includes some video assets that can be used for a homework assignment or as an in-class exercise for following the tutorial. The built-in tutorial will work well alone for students with previous video editing experience. But following along with someone else's prefabricated workflow in a tutorial and then performing the video editing moves you need to make on your own project can be a very different experience. For that reason, these tutorials are organized by the basic functions or moves that video editors will make in Premiere Rush so that users can consult the PDF worksheets to find out exactly the piece of advice they need in the moment that they need it. One footnote: the video tutorials in these modules were all made in Premiere Rush using only a laptop computer or smartphone, because that's the equipment that my students have access to. I have lots of expensive pro quality cameras, mics, lenses, and lights, but I wanted to make everything in these tutorials consistent with what my students have available to them to demonstrate just how simply powerful these technologies are.
Thank you. So that summarizes why I think Premiere Rush is so special. On previous webinars that I've done, I've talked a lot about my experiences with instructional technology. And we've talked about, some important principles to always keep in mind. And to me, the biggest one is you want to think about the change that you want to make, the pedagogical innovation, the difference in engagement or transformation for students. And so my experience with video, academic video, as I'm calling it, began about 25 years ago when it seemed pretty clear to me that people were going to start communicating in multiple modalities, in audio and video, as fast as they possibly could through images, which quite honestly, as a newly minted, untenured English professor, was a little bit threatening. And so I thought to myself, well, what's the future of text? What's the future of academic writing? That is, what I wanted to examine as a professor and as a teacher. And I thought, well, what should happen is I need to get out ahead of this curve. I need to think about what I want academic video to look like. and I better sort of do that before someone else imposes their perspective on it. And I thought about the kinds of things I was wanting to innovate and achieve in the classes I was teaching. And what I identified as my first priority was I wanted to more deeply connect what was going on in the class with my students' lived lives, both what they bring from their home and from where they're coming from into the campus, as well as how they're thinking about connecting what's going on in our course with their future directly. And so I thought to myself, what does it look like if we start imagining a video research paper? What kinds of things would we look at, and how would we do that? And 25 years later, it's kind of obvious, but back then in the late 1990s, it wasn't terribly obvious. And I just kind of accidentally stumbled over the, so to speak, documentary genre as a pretty good analog, if you want to put it that way, for a digital media approach to the kind of intellectual moves that students would make in your typical kind of research assignment or research project or a research paper in a video. And then I took that other piece of connecting to community and wanting students to investigate stories of social justice and community. And then all of a sudden I was accidentally using the documentary genre as a primary academic mode in actual English classes. And so that's how I started on this journey so long ago, and it's incredible how far things have come. The first video we ever produced was an interview with our local congressman, who is, by the way, still in office, David Price. It was about healthcare problems, which have not yet been solved, and it was a 300 by 300 pixel video, completely grainy, and it took 22 hours to render. That was 1998, I think, 99 maybe. And now you have 4K on your phone with an international distribution network available at the click of a button, thanks to applications like Adobe Premiere Rush on the phone. That does everything that you can do on the laptop version. We're about to go look at the laptop version. But it's a brand new day, and this is very exciting and thrilling to me to think that so many novices and so many beginners can start participating in knowledge making this way, in a way that enables you to focus on whatever your course is already supposed to be about. I'm doubting that you're in many of you are teaching courses where the goal is to teach video production. That certainly wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to teach other aspects of writing and rhetoric. And so to me, what we needed back then was not 22 hours of rendering. We needed something that would get out of the way of teaching and learning. Let us focus on the learning outcomes of any class, whether it's a science class or humanities class, social science class, doesn't matter. We want the technology to serve the pedagogical ends of the class and not become the ends themselves. And so, since it is a new day for all the reasons that little video clip just described, it's very exciting to me to think about the possibilities of transformation in a very large scale, not just for people who are specialists in the area. And so I want to share with you, and hopefully this film will go well. If it doesn't go well, we'll jump out and I'll kind of describe why, and we're going to spend 2 minutes looking at this one clip. The name of this film, clip we're going to look at, is called Our Lives Together. It's by a student whose name is Carrie Lewis. And as you're watching this film, there'll be some lag, but I want you to notice how there's some really nice, sophisticated, advanced, subtle editing techniques in the documentary genre that this student made. This student had never made a film before. This was the first time she'd ever made a film. And so this goes to show you what's now possible with video editing in academic environments for complete novices and beginners. And so as you're watching this film, I'll set it up for you just a little bit more. It tells the story of a family where the father is suffering from advanced Alzheimer's, and it's told from the perspective of the loving wife and mother and her son, who narrate their experience. This, again, is Our Lives Together by Carrie Lewis.
I think she is an incredibly giving person, and I think she tries to do her best to be a great wife, be a great caregiver to my dad. I think she takes her marriage covenant with my dad very seriously and tries to honor that, and is just an incredibly giving person, and has always put everybody else ahead of herself her whole life. And so she continues to live that out right now. I think it's been difficult, not only having to make decisions that she's not used to making, but also just to go through the pain of him not recognizing people and just deteriorating physically, and the frustration of, say, asking the same questions over and over every 5 minutes because he doesn't remember that he asked them already. Those kinds of things, are hard and they're frustrating, but she's incredibly patient and incredibly kind, incredibly loving, and just continues to work through it.
As long as there's breath, there is a plan. And I think there's untold joy in fitting into that plan. When all is said and done, that's really the point. What pleases the Lord? I mean, what fulfills what He created us to be and to do? Even if it were that you never touched the real person, which I don't believe that, but if it were, I think I would still feel the same way, because this is the man that I have lived with and honored and cared for. This is the commitment. This is marriage. This is our lives together.
And so that's just amazing what someone can do with these incredibly and increasingly powerful technologies the first time. And so this film to me is just illustrates the point of making any of these investments in the first place. That is, think of the student experience of making that film compared with your traditional, let's say, research paper on Alzheimer's. Now, research papers are still very important. In fact, there was a lot of conventional, what you might call research, that prepared this student to be able to be in the position to make this film. But I don't know about you, I can't remember a single film, a single research paper that I made as an undergraduate. This student is never going to forget this film, and as her teacher, I'm never going to forget it either. And so to me, this is the goal. This is the end game. This kind of student experience is why we want to make these investments and why we want to work through these things. And so we're going to have another poll that's going to come up real quickly. And while it does, Melissa said that there was a question that I can't read about, does this seamlessly go from Premiere Rush into Premiere Pro? In fact, it absolutely does. That's the beauty of working within the Creative Cloud platform, is that you can seamlessly go between these applications. You can start filming on your mobile device in the field, wherever you or your students may be doing academic intellectual work. Then you come back to your laptop, you open it up in Premiere Pro, you open it up in Premiere Rush. There's some effect or some feature in Premiere Pro that you want to use that isn't available in Rush, and the project just flows directly into Premiere Pro, and in fact into After Effects as well. Now you can't go the other way, and that makes sense. You can't go from a Premiere Pro project file back into Rush, but they all work together seamlessly in the other direction. And so based upon the video and what we've just seen, what makes, to me, Premiere Rush so powerful is that you can do sophisticated, fully functional multi-track editing in a way that you can actually do with a finger swipe on a mobile device, the way you had to use something sophisticated like Premiere Pro previously to accomplish. And so do we have any poll results so far, Melissa?
Yeah, we do. And I'm actually a little surprised by this, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
So our top answer is flat learning curve.
yeah. No, that
And then
doesn't
we
surprise
have
me.
that one does not, but this one actually does kind of surprise me. We have a tie between device agnostic, that one I get, and then easy share to YouTube and social media. That one I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, increasingly, especially when so much of what we're doing as educators now has to be facilitated through LMSs, and the fewer clicks you have between starting editing and revising and finishing, the more we can focus on what the class is supposed to be about. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. You said it was device agnostic, right? And then that's another indication of the new normal we're in. We're finding in many cases that for our students to get access to education, the new common denominator is a smartphone. More of our students have smartphone access and internet access through their smartphones than any other channel, and so we have to think or rethink what that means. And so those things aren't surprising to me at all, and I'm glad to hear everyone is getting some experiences that can help work to make this more accessible and a better experience for more people.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Click the link in the description below to explore more free online professional development and click the link on screen to subscribe to the channel for more videos.